14 degrees at 7:33. Good morning, everyone. Accused killer James Edward Cruz due in a Calgary courtroom today. The 36-year-old is charged with first-degree murder in the September 3rd death of 37-year-old Kathy Lynn Reed. Kathy's body was found inside a pickup truck at 84th Street and 17th Avenue Southeast on the 3rd of September. Police receiving a call that a woman had been taking drugs and overdosed. After a brief investigation, Cruz was charged with her murder. Police allege there was an argument and that the woman was fatally assaulted. Alberta RCMP have determined officers did nothing wrong when they did not issue an Amber Alert for a missing 9-year-old girl allegedly killed by her mother. An internal review was conducted into how officers handled the missing persons case of Amber Lucius. The little girl's body was found dead in a van on a rural road near Sundre 2 days after she was reported missing by her father. Mounties say a review determined the officers involved acted in compliance with Amber Alert protocols. The girl's 47-year-old mother is charged with first-degree murder. A 6-year-old boy is waking up in his own bed this morning back home after being accidentally shot on his family farm northeast of Calgary. The accident happening near Bicycle 2 days ago. Police are not releasing details on how the shooting actually happened. Investigators are now working with the Crown, though, to see if charges need to be laid.
What was the nature of the situation? Was there supervision? If it was a firearms incident, was it stored properly? Was it being used properly? Was proper care being given with respect to the firearms? We
do know the accident involved a small caliber firearm. Toronto Mayor Rob Ford will spend the next few days undergoing the first round of chemotherapy after being diagnosed with a rare and aggressive type of cancer.
The diagnosis is a malignant liposarcoma. It has 60 different cell types, and that's what makes it a very rare tumor and a very difficult tumor.
Dr. Cohen is leading Ford's care team. He says the tumor, which is 12 centimeters by 12 centimeters in size, is an aggressive one that is being met with an equally aggressive treatment plan. Ford's brother Doug says the mayor has been devastated by the diagnosis but is determined to fight the disease. When Rob Ford withdrew his candidacy for re-election as mayor of Toronto last week, opting to run as a city councillor, brother Doug entered the mayoral race. He launched a website and Twitter account today. There's a new tool for parents of children with cancer. The idea is to help their kids handle the side effects of the disease. The Pediatric Oncology Exercise Program, or manual, called POEM for short, gives parents the know-how to start getting their kids involved in physical activity tailored to their abilities. It's believed to be the first manual of its kind. POEM draws on the expertise of almost 25 healthcare professionals from around the world. It includes chapters on physical activity that take into account different types of cancers. It also talks about different types of treatment and the side effects, things like damage to the heart muscle and osteoporosis. POEM also has a companion manual meant for health and fitness professionals.
Let's try to bridge this gap between what we know, so why is exercise good for children with cancer, and what we put into practice. And so there weren't any real clear guidelines or resources available for either professionals or families, and that led to the development of the POEM manuals.
POEM will be formally launched at an educational workshop set for September 24th. That workshop is open to parents of children with cancer. Time to focus on business. Air Canada making headlines today following WestJet's lead. Business editor Mike Apple joining us live from Toronto. Good morning, Mike.
Yeah, good morning, Ted. Indeed, Air Canada announcing this morning it will start charging the first checked bag fee of $25 on its domestic flights. That's on its economy fares. It was already charging since 2011 $25 for the first checked bag on flights to the U.S. and other locations. But this, as you mentioned, follows WestJet's lead from earlier in the week to start charging on that first checked bag fee of $25 as well. It's the industry trend, and that's what Air Canada says right in its statement this morning about all of this. They figure it'll affect about 1 in 5 bookings on Air Canada's website, and it's again just for their baseline fares. The other fares not affected by this, but it will bring in more revenue. And how does that play out on the stock market? Well, stock's up in reaction by about 40 cents right off the bat this morning. Earlier in the week, we saw WestJet shares rise to an all-time record high. Wall Street ready for more records today as well. We saw the Dow jump yesterday after the U.S. Central Bank maintained maintained the overnight lending rate as it was expected to do, and basically was status quo on interest rate policy right now. In 2015, they might start raising interest rates. When they do, they could go up a little bit sooner, but it's all data dependent. All of these economic signals that we give you every morning out of the United States all plays into what the U.S. Central Bank does, and indeed the Bank of Canada and all global central banks. And they're also very concerned to some extent about what the U.S. dollar's been doing. It's been going up. That hurts their exports, so they're not all that ready to move on interest rates quite yet. So markets up globally today. The Scottish referendum vote is underway. The thinking is it's going to be the no side winning, and we're watching European markets rise substantially this morning. That, of course, could change on a dime depending on what those results show overnight. And Apple's newest iPads. Didn't hear about them at the iPhone 6 launch earlier this month. Expectation October 21st, Apple's going to hold another event for new iPads, which should be ready just in time for Christmas because that company needs even more money heading into 2015. Ted, back to you.
All right, thank you, Mike. Mike Eppel chatting with us from 680 News in Toronto. 680 News is the sister radio station of 660 News right here in Calgary. Mike Eppel talking about potential iPad announcements in October. Our gadget guy, Mike Yanni, no doubt working hard to be one of the first Canadian people to get his hands on those. All right, that's it for news. Heading back to Tarsla.